They're racing away in a pretty level line at the end of 100 metres. Bolster tending to drop back a little with Sharp Lord and Miss Jugar, and Tipsy Feeling straight to the lead from Monet's Cove. A length away third, the favourite Elegant Court. Grandmaster caught wide out, followed by Flapper and then Sharp Lord getting through on the inside. About 3 to Bolster, Jezebel in the Stars, and 2 Miss Jugar. To the course proper at the 1,000 metres, and Tipsy Feeling taken on left, right and centre by Grandmaster wide out and Monet's Cove. And Grandmaster and Monet's Cove stride for stride at the 850 crossing. 2 lengths Tipsy Feeling, Flapper and Sharp Lord. 2.5 to 3 Elegant Court inside of Bolster. 1 Jezebel in the Stars second last, and 2 lengths to Miss Jugar. 700 left to go, and Monet's Cove, a real ring wobbler here, leads the way a half length on Grandmaster, a length the Flapper. Jezebel working forward. Tipsy Feeling shuffled back a little bit, then Sharp Lord, Bolster followed wider out on the track in the Stars. Miss Jugar second last, and back to last is Elegant Court. They straighten up now in the Bailey, and Monet's Cove a half. Grandmaster, Flapper wider out on the track, then Bolster, Jezebel, Tipsy Feeling. Elegant Court is a mile away. Monet's Cove 200 metres left to travel. Just the leader, Flapper battling on. So's Grandmaster. Bolster's joining in quickly with Jezebel. Grandmaster, Flapper, Bolster go to Monet's Cove. Bolster on the outside. Grandmaster. Bolster does too well. Bolster a short neck. Grandmaster, Monet's Cove third, fourth Flapper, then Jezebel with Miss Jugar. Good margin in the Stars, and then came Elegant Court, followed by Sharp Lord, and last was Tipsy Feeling.
On Super Tab, number 9 Bolster, $11 and $3.40. Number 6 Grandmaster, $2.20, and 2 Monet's Cove, $2.10. 11.10 and 3.10 for the winner in New South Wales.
Grandmaster, ridden by D. Beedman, has paid $2.30, and number 2 Monet's Cove, written by G. Cooksley, has paid $2.30. Well, Beedman and Cooksley went hammer and tong in the early stages. Wasn't surprising to see Bolster run them down in the last little bit. They went lickety-split. Grandmaster, Beedman, Monet's Cove, Cooksley, and they were a sitting duck for something to come down the outside and blow them away, and Bolster did just that. The runs of the second and third horses were outstanding, in my opinion. Under the circumstances, number 9 Bolster by Marauding from Castanets, trained by Clary Connors for the Kelly family, and Clary himself has a share. By a brown gelding two-fold on the 10th of October 1993. Marauding, Castanets and Glen Boss having a good carnival, Glen. Grandmaster's going to win a race very shortly by Senfro from round the world, a 2-year-old chestnut colt, J.B. Cummings, D. Beedman, and 2 Monet's Cove, who got right out in the market by Mononga Healer from Lush Gypsy, F.W. Mitchell, G. Cooksley. Number 1 ran 4th, and that was Flapper. Now, the time is 1:24.8. 1:24.8. That's 2 seconds outside the record held by Quagent, and we'll have the sectional time in a moment. New South Wales Quinella, $45.50, exacta $92.50, and the trifecta paid $910. Well, Elegant Court got shuffled back to last as they straightened up. Didn't do much over the concluding stages, so it was Bolster running second at Kembla Grange to Mohani on the 6th of April, 1 week ago, and has come out at Royal Randwick on the 4th day of the carnival and opened his winning account. Rodney.
Right, Ian, race 2.
They're racing in the Oaks, and one of the best to get going wide out was Alacrity. Closer in Isolde's right up there, and not far away either is Hello Dahl. Salius and also the Lions Roar starting to improve their position simultaneously, and Esther Kelly's not far back, and Bravo Zulu's right up with the lead too, and there's a charge of horses out of the straight. Over the first crossing at the 2,000 metres, Isolde is the leader from the Lions Roar. Esther Kelly third, Salius 3 deep, 4 wide Military Call, and then Hello Dahl and Ken Bell. A length the broaching, followed by Bravo Zulu, and then Eureka Jewel and Whiteout Usha. Nightclub the inside. Alacrity getting back now after a good jump, and then Golden Vine just a runner, and 2 lengths Arctic Scent. One of the roughies, Military Call, looking for the lead and going to the second crossing at the 1,600, and a Military Call goes to the front now. The saddle shifted on it by the look of things. It's about a half length on Isolde. In third position, 3 lengths away, the Lions Roar, and 2 further back in the field is Esther Kelly broaching wide. Ken Bell on the the inside. Salius can't get anywhere near the rail. She's 3 deep. Hello Dale the middle. Nightclub on the inside, and then Eureka Jewel on the fence over Ushar, and 2 lengths Bravo Zulu, Golden Vine, and then Alacrity as they string out just to run a second last, and 3 or 4 lengths Arctic Set. Past the 1,200 metres they travel, and Military Call and Isolde stride for stride. 2.5 lengths clear on the Lion's Roar, followed by Broaching and Ken Bell and then Esther Kelly. Length and a half to Nightclub, who's a horse off the rails, and by G. Salius has had to travel wide from the word go. A couple to Ushar and Eureka Jewel. Hello Dale on the rails. Then Bravo Zulu. Good margin away. Next on the inside is Golden Vine. 2.5 Alacrity. A length just a runner, and 3 or 4 to Arctic Set. On the side of the track, and the AJC Australian Oaks, they have 700 to run, and Isolde is the leader. Military Call has given up the ghost. The Lion's Roar has run through, and going up inside of the Lion's Roar to second now is Ken Bell. Length and a half to Salius, followed by Esther Kelly, and then Eureka Jewel. Oh, Salius got pushed right out off the track on the home corner, went via the Cape, and Ken Bell raced to Isolde to hit the front. 4 lengths away, third is Esther Kelly. Salius can't go on, but at the 250, and Ken Bell put nearly 2 lengths Isolde. Eureka Jewel is going after Ken Bell, and then Esther Kelly. Forget all about Salius, but it's Ken Bell in front, 100 to go. Eureka Jewel is finishing on doggedly. Will she run out of ground? She will. Ken Bell holding her, and Ken Bell a half. Eureka Jewel. Isolde a third from Arctic Set, Alacrity. Just a runner, Esther Kelly, Bravo Zulu, and then came Nightclub, Hello Dale, followed by Golden Vine, Salius, Usha, the Lion's Roar, Broaching, and Absolute was Military Call. What a sensational Oaks.
Number 8, Ken Bell to return $18.60 and $4 even. Number 4, Eureka Jewel, $1.70. 2, Isolde, $7.30.
Ken Bell, Justin Sheehan has held off Eureka Jewel. Salius, never any closer than 3 to the inside rail, and on the home corner went 88 wide. And, I think coming down to the turn, she was under pressure before she got pratted out off the track. But take nothing from Ken Bell, drew the rails, trained by Kevin Robinson. That'll give Kev, I'd say, his biggest gallop success. Of course, he's no stranger to great trotting success, having, of course, driven an Inter-Dominion winner, firstly in New Zealand back in 1968. And he didn't train the horse, but nevertheless, Ken Bell today has paid $15 upwards, $15 and $3.40. Number 4, second, Eureka Jewel has paid $1.50, and number 2, third, Isolde, $8.90. Number 6 ran 4th. That was Arctic Set. She made up many, many lengths. The 5th placing was number 3, Alacrity, and the 6th went to number 13, and that was Esther Kelly. 8, 4, 2, 6, 3, 13. The Superfecta in New South Wales. The Quinella, $31.50. The Exacta paid $99. And the Trifecta was a healthy $1,837.40. The winning margin was half a length, with 4.5 lengths between second and third, a half by 4.5. The time was 2:31.10, 2:31.10. That's only 1.10 outside Triske's race record. So maybe with his son, this track is improving, but they didn't loaf. 2:31.1, and we'll have a sectional time coming up in a moment. I'm just going to have a look at the, if I can get a glimpse of the replay coming down to the turn with Salius. But by gosh, she was forced to cover a lot of ground. Now, I can tell you, firstly, that the Superfecta has not been won. The Superfecta has not been won here, and it'll be a healthy pool into the last, the Bradshaw Group hallmark. Now, whilst we're awaiting just further information, Sydney, let's go to Rodney, and he's going to update Brisbane.
Okay, bin, $1.80, $1.40.
Ralph may have missed it about a half length. Sharon Tessa, Star of Maple, and Savo away well. Proposer Toast from the outside, and Placido began okay with Grey Alex and Cushman. Sharon Tessa, Star of Maple, the leaders now at the winning post now from further out in the track, Coachwood. Cushman over on the inside, going out of the straight from Placido and Grey Alex when they settle down. Cushman held the fence out of the straight from Star of Maple, and Coachwood up on the outside. Sharon Tessa drops in 4th. They're followed by Grey Alex now 5th, 2 lengths further back, Savo inside Placido. 2 to Zilzal further back, Private Income, Proposer Toast, Tall Lord. Monica and Unsolved is well back with Raft on the outside of it. Coachwood anxious to get to the front along the back, and he takes up the running now. Coachwood, he moved out a length and a half in front at the 1400 metre mark from Star of Maple, 3 to Sharon Tessa. 2 or 3 further back, Cushman running fourth, 3 then to Grey Alex. They're stringing out from Save Placido, 3 or 4 further back, Zilzal. Then Private Income from further back, Monica, 3 deep around, Proposer Toast, Tour Lord. Then Raft and Unsold last of all. A good 15 lengths from first to last, going down the back straight now, and the leader is Coachwood, backing the speed a little, about 3/4 to Star of Maple, a half Sharon Tessa. They're 4 or 5, Cushman running fourth, a length and a half to Grey Alex at the 1,000. Then Save the fence from Zilzal. Further back, Placido, Private Income, Monica, and then Tour Lord, Proposer Toast. Raft and Unsolved last of all. Off the back they race at the 850, and Coachwood out a length and a half in front. He tried to break away. Sharon Tessa got up to second from Star of Maple third. 2 to Cushman on the outside of it. Grey Alex is nice and handy running fifth. 2 lengths further back in the race, then Save from Zilzal. Placido the rail, and further back Monica, Proposer Toast, Raft. Then further back in the race came Private Income, Tour Lord, and Unsolved as last of all. Up to the turn, Sharon Tessa hit the front from Coachwood. Wider out on the track is Grey Alex, the rider, looking over his shoulder now. And in the straight, Sharon Tessa being tackled by Grey Alex on the outside. Cushman back to the inside, and a gap then to Coachwood and Placido. But Grey Alex has hit the front of the 200 metre mark. And the little grey ducking back to the fence, raced away 2 1/2 Sharon Tessa. Here's Proposer Toast storming down the outside, but Grey Alex has got a big break. He's 4 lengths in front of Proposer Toast. Cushman getting up on the outside of Sharon Tessa, but Grey Alex far too good, wins 2 1/2 Proposer Toast. Cushman third, fourth Sharon Tessa. Then on the outside, Monica, followed by Placido. Then Coachwood, further back in the race, Zilzal, Raft, Private Income, Tour Lord. A gap then in the race to Savo with Unsolved, and last of all in the event is Star of Maple.
Double 36.60.
And the win in place, number 5, Grey Alex at 5.30 the win and 2.10 the place. Second, 8, Proposer Toast at 6.50. Third, 4, Cushman, 2.10.
Number 5, Grey Alex, to pay $5, $2. Number 8, to Propose a Toast, to pay $5.40. And number 4, Cushman, $2 even. More from Melbourne soon. We'll be going to Queanbeyan in a moment. They're also moving up in Perth. Adelaide race 4.
And the racing in the Packer Plate. And the best to begin was Mr. Piper. Out pretty well was My Artico, Delinquent, not far away. And the same can be said for the Peak. And who is going to lead at the end of 200 metres? It's Delinquent. My Artico 3 deep, beating off Mr. Piper, and wider out is Revenge. And then comes the Peak, followed by Federico on the inside. Payback Time. A couple of lengths to the favourite King Brian, and 2 1/2 Just Amigo. My Artico to a clear-cut lead as they work to the back, and 1,500 to gallop. My Artico opens up 2 1/2 lengths now. On Revenge working to a clear second. Mr. Piper won't settle. Delinquent third. Federico going up quickly and puts a bit of pace on, and the Peak following it forward. Mr. Piper is travelling a bit more genuinely now, and then Payback Time on the inside of King Brian, and 3 lengths to Just Amigo as they head along past the 1,200 metres. And the leader is one of the New Zealanders. I refer to My Artico, and it must be about 2 1/2 lengths on Federico. Delinquent third, and then the Peak on the outside, 3 wide. Revenge 1 off the rails. Payback Time on the inside of Mr. Piper. King Brian on the fences next to last, and at his quarters racing Just Amigo. My Artico in front as they race onto the High Street side, and at the 800 almost, it's My Artico, a length and 3/4 Federico. The Peak off the track, and the inside is Delinquent, and then Revenge. Just over 1 Payback Time. Mr. Piper on the outside. 2 to King Brian, at a half length to Just Amigo. Well, there hasn't been much change for a while, and down to the 600 metres they travel, and My Artico shows the way by a length and a half now on the Peak. On the inside is Delinquent. 2 lengths Revenge, and then Payback Time. Mr. Piper being taken to the extreme outside. King Brian sticking to the fence, and the last pair are Just Amigo, and Federico's dropped back sharply in the straight now, and quickly Delinquent went past My Artico on the outside. Mr. Piper, and now let's look for King Brian. King Brian is still back about 4th last and labouring. Mr. Piper out in the centre of the track, hits the front. Mr. Piper, he's raced more than a length. Delinquent, Revenge, Payback Time getting clear on the inside, but it's all Mr. Piper, and Mr. Piper wins it well. A length and a quarter. Payback Time and Delinquent. Then came Just Amigo, Revenge, followed by the Peak. King Brian didn't go on with it. My Artico ran out of puff and tailed off Federico. Mr. Piper.
Number 2, Mr. Piper, $6.50 and $2 even. Number 5, Payback Time, $1.40, and 3 Delinquent, $1.70.
About 45 minutes later, and taken the Frank Packer Plate. Number 2, Mr. Piper, written by Jay Sheehan, has paid $6.40 and $2.10. $6.40 and $2.10. He handled that slow ground without any worry. I don't think King Brian handled it, to be truthful. I don't think he was happy at all. He showed no zip over the concluding stages. Number 2, Mr. Piper, 6:40 and 2:10. Number 5, second, Payback Time, has paid $1.50. And number 3, Delinquent, third, has paid $1.70. The winner by Zephyr Zip from Lily Antoinette, a 3-year-old grey gelding bred by Johnny Muir, and owned by Mr. and Mrs. K.C. Lim and Mr. S. and Mrs. O. Tate Jabal, Kevin Robinson, the trainer, Justin Sheehan, the winning rider. Second going to number 5, Payback Time by Dane Hill from Bosk, a bay gelding, 3, Bard Cummings, Stephen King. And number 3, third, Delinquent, a 3-year-old chestnut gelding, Arch Regent, Vin de Twal, Graham Norman, Shane Dye. The fourth went to number 8, that being Just Amigo. Now the margins are 1 1.25 by a half a neck, 1 1/4 half a neck. The time was 2:05.18, well outside the record. They went very slowly early. You might have heard in the callers mentioning Mr. Piper. He didn't want to settle for about 300 metres, but when there was a bit of action going down towards the 1200 and the speed clapped on a little, it did suit Mr. Piper. Quinella, $12.20, Exacta $28, Trifecta $118.20. That's the fifth, the Frank Packer Plate. Rod.
Okay, let's have a look at race number 5, Brisbane, number 1.
And it looks as though we're just about racing in the 1996 Sydney Cup, and one of the best to get going was Gold Sovereign. Electronic jumped out well. Not far back in the early stages is Racing Rider, followed by Cornwall King and then the Bandette. Length further away is Ceto Bridge from Boart. Carla Chief on the inside, about 4 or 5 Count Shivers. Then Brilliant Poet, who got out better today, from Tennessee Oak. 2 or 3 lengths to Dark Czar, and close up is Old Spiritual Star. As they come up to the home corner the first time at the 500 metres, Gold Sovereign on the outside is the leader. About a length or so on Racing Rider. The Bandette travelling wide in the third spot. Cornwall King over on the rails is inside Electronic, and a couple of lengths Carla Chief, who races inside of Boart. 3 or 4 Ceto Bridge, a length Count Shivers, 2 Brilliant Poet. Tennessee Oak on the inside, and a couple to Dark Czar and Spiritual Star. Down the home straight they gallop and along towards the 100 metres, and the free-going Gold Sovereign can't quite clear Racing Rider, leads him 3/4 of a length. The Bandette third, followed on the inside next by Cornwall King. Electronic at its girth on the outside, 2 lengths further back, Carla Chief on the inside of Boart. 2 1/2 to the favourite Count Shivers, and then another length and a half's gap to Tennessee Oak, Ceto Bridge, Brilliant Poet, and Dark Czar and Spiritual Star are the last pair. Still no change in order in the Sydney Cup as they go out of the straight and travel past the 1900 metres, and Gold Sovereign a length and a quarter on one of the New Zealanders, the Bandette. 3/4 to Racing Rider. Electronic and Cornwall King both getting nice runs. A length and a half then to Boart, followed by Carla Chief. Count Shivers has settled well. 2 lengths to Tennessee Oak, another 2 1/2 to Brilliant Poet. Ceto Bridge on the inside, and 2 lengths Dark Czar and Spiritual Star. Working to the back of the course now, over the crossing at the 1600 metres, and Gold Sovereign increases his lead on the Bandette to 2 lengths. Then Racing Rider, Electronic, followed by Cornwall King, Boart. A little over a length's gap then to Count Shivers. Working up on the outside of Carla Chief from Tennessee Oak, Brilliant Poet, Ceto Bridge, Spiritual Star, and Dark Czar is last. Well, this has been the order for quite some way, and in the Sydney Cup they race to the 1200 metres, and Gold Sovereign a length on the Bandette. Then Racing Rider in a much more prominent position today, followed by Electronic, Cornwall King, then Boart. Tennessee Oak making a little ground from Carla Chief, Count Shivers, 2 to Brilliant Poet, and then Ceto Bridge on the inside from Spiritual Star, and Dark Czar is the tail ender. Out of the back straight they go, and coming onto the High Street side past the 900, and Gold Sovereign given full bore. 4 lengths on the Bandette, 2 lengths away. Third is Electronic, followed by Tennessee Oak. A length the Racing Rider. Cornwall King off the fence now, and then Boart, 2 1/2 Count Shivers around Carla Chief, and then comes on the inside Brilliant Poet from Spiritual Star, and the last pair as they run to the corner, Dark Czar and Ceto Bridge. They're packing up in the Cup. 500 metres left to go, and Cornwall King and the Bandette have raced away from Gold Sovereign with Electronic, and Tennessee Oak is joining in, and Count Shivers is following Tennessee Oak, and then Brilliant Poet and Old Spiritual Star. The Bandette hits the front, 250 to go in the Sydney Cup, but here's Count Shivers and Spiritual Star. Count Shivers goes to the front, 175 to travel. He beat off the Bandette, and then comes the grey Spiritual Star, but Count Shivers, here's another big one for the Freedmans. Count Shivers and Stephen King will win the Cup. It's Count Shivers from the Bandette, Boat Boat, I reckon, beat Spiritual Star for third, followed then by Brilliant Poet, Dark Czar, Electronic, followed home by Cornwall King. Tennessee Oak died on his run. Long margin, Cedo Bridge, Racing Rider, Carla Chief, and the early leader last, Gold Sovereign.
Number 1, Count Shivers, Super Tab, 310, 160. Number 13, The Bandit, 330. And number 4, Boat, 340.
Another big one for the Freedmans. Group 1 win number 67. $3.20 and $1.60. Number 13 has run second, The Bandit, ridden by Alf Matthews, to pay $4. And number 4, Boat, in third place, ridden by Darren Beedman, has paid $4.20, with number 11 in fourth position, Spiritual Star. Number 9, officially fifth, Brilliant Poet. 1, 13 and 4. The winner, Count Shivers, is by Lord Ballina from Inquisit, trained by Lee Friedman for R.D. and Mrs. I.M. Wood and Mr. N.E. Salaikas, and brilliantly ridden by Stephen King. If there is any jockey in Australia riding better than S.R. King at the moment, well, that would be certainly up for conjecture. The winner, Count Shivers, having his 25th start, his 7th win, 7 seconds and 1/3. He has run 3:26.36. A slow run, 3:26.36. They just went along in the same pattern for one heck of a long way in the Cup. But Stephen King biding his time until a very, very perfect moment to bring this outstanding horse down the outside, quickly gobbled up the leaders and has raced on to win by a handy margin. 1, 13 and 4. New South Wales Quinella 29.90, Exacta 47.10, Trifecta 684.90. What a good performance by the Bandit. He's only had 10 starts now by Noble Bijou from Princess Orchid. Johnny Wheeler, watch out for him in the springtime. The Bandit, a 4-year-old chestnut gelding, Noble Bijou, Princess Orchid, Johnny Wheeler, Alf Matthews, and third, Boat. She showed a bit of improvement on her recent form today by Nomrude from Ballyman's Girl, a bay mare for David Edwards from West Swan in Perth, Darren Beedman. Fourth repeating, number 11, Spiritual Star. The old fella ran a very good race. 3:26.36. The sectional time is not up yet. Margins are 3/4 by a half, 3/4 by a half. Okay, here's the sectional time coming in. Thanks, Gaz. It's 36.41. 36.41. For the moment, interstate, back to you.
Okay, let's have a look at the update on race number 6 in Brisbane. The first